Watch out, there's a shark! Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host, Connie, and today we are here with more One Piece, episode 1090, the second episode of the Egghead arc. So yeah, we are here. It's exciting to be here still. Last episode was really good, really fun, kicked off the arc really well, and gave us our new opening. And let's talk about that for a second. So we got a new opening, and it is the fourth opening by Hiroshi Kitadani. I didn't notice this when initially watching, because just kind of in the moment, I won't always recognize everything. But Hiroshi Kitadani, for those who don't know, is the same artist who did the theme song We Are, the original first theme of One Piece. He also did We Go, which was the first theme post-time skip, as well as Over the Top, the first theme song of Wano. So he's done a lot of first theme songs, because this is also not just the first theme song of Egghead, but the first theme song of the final saga. So he's kind of brought back in during big points in the series to kind of just bring in a big feeling with a new opening, you know? And I said last time as well that I would need to see the opening probably many more times to get a good feel for it, to understand what I thought of it. So, since I recorded the last episode last week, I have seen the opening many more times. I've watched it quite a lot, actually. Whether on my phone, on TikTok specifically, on just YouTube randomly. I watched it with my sister because I usually show her when new openings come in. And I've also even listened to the full version of the song and the translation of the lyrics and everything. For those who may not know, the lyrics talk about, continuing along this grand adventure and staying true to yourselves and the journey along the way. That you're all doing it together and that this adventure is not over yet, basically. Which is very fitting to the series and where it's at. The song is called Asu, or Us, and it is a really good song. And at first, the first time you hear it, it sounds like it could be a little, disjointed, for lack of a better word, because it feels like there's different parts of the songs that sound different. But the more you listen to it, the more you kind of get a good feel for what it's trying to do and say. Not to mention how well it blends with the visuals of the opening. Because as you watch it, you start to see just how exceptionally well the visuals match up. Not just in terms of timing, but in terms of the vibe it's going for. There's the one part during the opening where someone is high-fiving the pink-haired, half pink-haired girl, new character who is in the in my channel banner. I put her in my channel banner because honestly, she's fucking adorable. But there's the one part where someone off screen is high-fiving her, and Hiroshi at that moment is going yeah, or something like that, and the way he says it matches so perfectly with the vibe of that moment. The cute smile on the character's face and the just lovely energy of that high five is matched so perfectly with Hiroshi's line delivery there. It's wonderful. It's great work in terms of how that was done. And the visuals of the opening, obviously with the new visuals of the series and everything, having this more kind of almost hand-drawn cartoony look is really cool too. It gives it a different feel from anything else. It allows it to truly kind of come into its own in a way. And I really like that as well. Now, I would say that currently, and I shared a tier list on the Discord about this, but I would say that currently the opening, in terms of overall rankings for all the openings of the series, is probably, I think I put it at my number 2, which is high praise, because that's a big deal for it to be that high up for me. And I know a lot of that is probably recency bias. A lot of that is probably just because it's fresh in my mind and I'm really enjoying watching the opening over and over. So I understand that there is that recency bias in there, but at the same time, I just really like it that much. I really do. And for those wondering, my number 1 is Share the World, which is opening 11 during Shabandi, Amazon Lily, and Impel Down. I believe that opening is during all 3 of those arcs. The beginning of Impel Down, because I think there's 2 openings in Impel Down. I think. But yeah, Share the World is my favorite. It's exactly my kind of song, exactly my kind of visuals. I really love it. But for this to be up there with my favorites, it's like that's definitely a big thing, a big deal. And I definitely still stand by that. I needed to see this more than once. I needed to see it many times to truly get it. And again, I needed to do what I did with checking out the full version of the song, checking out the lyrics, what they mean and everything. I needed to get that full vibe to truly, well, vibe with the song. It's not a theme that you can really, in my opinion, and obviously it's different for everyone, but it's not a theme that at least I could connect with on just one viewing. Like, on a single viewing, it's like, yeah, it's good, but I need to see it more times to truly understand what I feel about it. And I've seen all these different people, all these different reactions. Like Roger's Base, I think. Is that the name of the channel? God. I don't watch a lot of the YouTubers for One Piece because a lot of them are manga readers and, will spoil the shit out of me if I watch them. I think it's Roger's Base. But he did this reaction. He was so over the top with his reaction. And the thing is, he was kind of like saying, like, here and there, it's like, oh, they put that in there? And I was trying to ignore, like, I don't think he mentioned any specifics. Or if he did it after the initial reaction, like when he went back and analyzed everything. But during, like, the initial reaction, which I think I just saw on TikTok, he was just like, they put that in there? Oh, that's in there? And stuff like that. It's like, okay, that's fine because that's not actually spoiling anything specific. But yeah, I don't think he actually spoiled anything. If he did, it was something that I already knew because I don't remember getting spoiled for anything while watching that. Again, he might have done it like when he went back and like reanalyzed it in like his video on YouTube or whatever. I think the video I saw on TikTok was just that initial reaction. But either way, you get the point. A lot of people were like going so insanely hype about like about the visuals and stuff specifically. And yes, the visuals are amazing. That's undeniable. Like, visually speaking, you could say it is one of, if not the best, One Piece opening. But I also think it stands up to that with everything. And I always have this weird, it's not really a weird take, but it's more like, I guess, an unpopular take. When a lot of people look towards anime openings, they judge them based on the song or the visuals, but almost never do I see them judge them on both. or at least not both equally. Most people I see judge it almost purely on the song. And that's why they refer to the opening usually by the singer and the song title. Even though that's technically not an accurate way to refer to a opening with. Because that's only one portion of the opening. But they focus so much on the music that almost nothing else matters. If they like the song, the opening is, A plus for them. And I've never understood that, because I've seen plenty of openings where the song is great, but the visuals, by God, are not. And it makes it so it's not really that great of an opening overall. Because you have to have both. And not only do you have to have good visuals and good music, they have to mesh together. They actually have to combine together well, too. And there's a lot of cases where you just don't get that. But there's also a lot of cases where you do. And so it's like, it just feels weird to see a lot of people like just talking about one side or the other. In this case, kind of just talking about the visuals. It's like, oh, it looks so gorgeous. It's like, that's not all that matters. But then again, anime fans also do this with just the actual shows too. Oh, One Punch Man Season 1 was phenomenally animated. That means it was so good. It was just so amazing because of its phenomenal animation. But Season 2's animation was so much worse. That makes it a worse season overall. It's like, that logic does not hold up. Season 2 was better overall because of the characters, the story, just everything except the animation. The animation was the only thing that took a downgrade. And it wasn't even that big of a downgrade. People exaggerate like crazy on that too. But even so, it's like the lesser animation does not make a difference there, because that's not what was appealing about One Punch Man in the first place. The appeal of One Punch Man is the parody, the satire, what it's trying to say about the superhero and shonen genres. But I'm not going to get into all of that here, because that's kind of off topic. The point is, people don't look at the full picture way too often when they judge anime openings and even just anime. So that's why I had to watch the opening for One Piece here, the new one, many more times, because I needed to get that full picture before I could accurately judge it. Anyway, we haven't actually talked about what happened last time yet, and we're like 13 minutes almost into these pre-thoughts. So let's give a brief overview of what happened last time. So the crew is just continuing on their journey, and they end up coming across this, I forgot what it was called, this water phenomenon that Zoro ends up cutting. After this, we end up seeing Bonnie in a child form, you know how her devil fruit works and all, coming out of nowhere, and they end up saving her. But at the end, we see a giant shark has also come up. And this opening to the arc also gave us some more info on what other things are happening. We got to see the destruction of the kingdom of, not just destruction, the obliteration of the kingdom of Leloucha. Of course, according to the world government, it never existed in the first place because, you know, they're fucked up and evil. Fuck them. But, you know, we got to see that. We know Sabo is alive. Like, come on. And it's just kind of up in the air as to where a lot of that's going to go next. But we're headed towards Egghead. We'll probably reach it, I would assume, in this episode or the next episode. With it being the start of the final saga, I don't think that Oda would have waited to really get to that. But I mean, I could be entirely wrong. I mean, I don't know. But I think they spotted like the signs of an island coming up in the last episode anyway. So we'll see. But yeah, so Bonnie is here. She's going to, I guess, be a major factor in this arc, considering, you know, we've kind of been doing that in the New World. Just bringing in the different members of the worst generation to have major parts in various arcs. It's Bonnie's turn, so I assume your Rouge will be next, maybe for the next arc or an arc after that. Because he's the only one at this point who hasn't had a focus of any kind. He was mentioned in Whole Cake, but that was just a mention and a short little like scene that we saw. But that wasn't actually a focus. And how are we going to defeat this shark that is so much bigger than the Sunny and everything? Um, that's a big issue too. Like, we have some strong members of our crew, of course. Not only just the monster trio, but we have Robin, we have Jinbei. It's like we have people who can fight. But that shark was massive. It's like, how do you fight something like that? Um, I guess we'll have to see. I guess we'll have to find out. I'm excited though. I really am excited to see where this arc goes because I believe I said it last time. I know a couple things here and there, but I don't know context behind them. And I'll tell you when they come up as to like, oh, this is something I knew about. I'll let you know when that happens. But um, I don't know context behind a lot of this stuff, and at the same time, I just don't know everything. I only know like a couple random things here and there. And since they are out of context, I don't know exactly how they come up or what leads into that or anything or details about all of it. So, yeah, either way, we'll get to that kind of stuff when we get to it, and I'll again let you know when we do. Um, but for the time being, we should probably get these pre-thoughts started. We just hit over 17 minutes on these pre-thoughts because I talked so long about the opening stuff. Um, let's get this reaction started and hope for the best. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Dr. Vegapunk has arrived. This is one of the biggest things that we have been waiting for this entire series. Dr. Vegapunk has been foreshadowed for quite a long time, and we have always been wanting to see them. We have always been, like, wondering all of this information. Obviously, Frankie has the connection with the robotics and everything there. This is a very, very, very big deal. The genius scientist who works for the world government, who, you know, has to do with Kuma and everything, has to do with so much that we've heard about, and now we're finally getting to it. This is massive. This is a huge deal, and we are finally here. And this is one thing I very much knew about, because you gotta understand, people would not shut up about this. People would not shut up about it at all. So, yeah, we finally got Dr. Vegapunk here. Again, I don't know all these details and everything. I don't know, like, every little bit of context behind everything. But the excitement is here nonetheless. Now, we continue this off of where we left off before in the last episode. We have the shark attack, and it's revealed that it's mechanical, that it's a robot. It capsizes the boat. They struggle to try and get away, but, you know, it ends up being too much of a problem for them. Luffy, Chopper, and Bonnie, who were drowning in the sea, have to end up getting rescued by Jinbei. But because he goes off to rescue them, Frankie, who's, trying to keep the ship in line and not doing a great job at it, but it's not even his fault. He ends up like everything ends up going wrong with the ship. Again, it gets capsized, and they have to deal with the shark coming in to attack them while they're drowning. Jinbei, because of the sea and the storm and everything, can't find where they're at. And so the crew kind of gets separated for now, which is, again, not really new at this point. This happens, I feel like, almost every arc. At first, they get separated, but they come back together at this point. That's just been a thing for quite a while. So while we have Jinbei, Luffy, and Chopper off with Bonnie, we have the rest of the crew together. The shark is coming in for the attack, but a giant robot comes and saves them. Punches the shark, gets it to leave and everything. And the robot, carries the ship up to the surface. Now, at the end, of course, we see Dr. Vegapunk come out, and she mentions, like, oh, the shark was just supposed to, scout and, like, send a shot out, but was not supposed to try and eat you and all that. That was not part of the plan. So it seems like, yeah, just maybe a glitch in the system or something. Just something went wrong. But we'll probably get more info on that in the next episode. But this was definitely like kicking all of that off. And in the meantime, we got some we got to check in with some other stuff. We see the kids from Punk Hazard that Caesar Clown had experimented on are getting treated still by the Navy at G14. It was 14, right? And Tashigi specifically. And while all of this is going down, Helmeppo is apparently, along with this other character named Hibari, I think it was, they're begging this guy named Prince Roos to help them search for Kobe, because his status is currently unknown. And Prince is like, no, listen, they're on Fololed. That place is a beehive. Metaphor. If you go there, you're going to get shot up to shit. We can't just do that all willy-nilly. That's where Blackbeard and his crew are. You dig? And Helmeppo and, I guess, Hibari. Hibari's new. So it's like, I don't know her connection to Kobe exactly. But obviously, Kobe and Helmeppo are best buds. And most people tend to ship them. But, yeah. I feel like there's definitely a connection there. We just don't know about it yet. And again, we know from the opening that they're going to go and try to rescue him, because we see Kobe running with, again, I think it's Hibari. We see them running together on Fololed in the opening. So we know this rescue mission is going to happen. And we see Prince Roos and them during the opening as well. Now, Tashigi also, like, she finds out about Helmeppo's situation and all, because she ends up talking to Vice Admiral Dahl, who is basically just this hot goth chick who is, like, not dressed like a Navy soldier at all, but, I don't even give a shit, because she's just that damn hot. Like, there's a lot of hot characters in One Piece. There's a lot of them. Like, there's a lot of characters that are just generally very attractive. I mean, Luffy, Jinbei, and yes, if you didn't know, I consider Jinbei attractive. You have Zoro is an easy one. Nami and Robin, obviously. Yamato. There's a lot of them. Too many to just name off the top of my head. Perona. I will mention Perona, though. There's a lot of hot characters in One Piece, and so it's not a surprise that Oda would introduce more, especially with the recurring joke that I always see, that Oda is horny because of the way he draws women and everything. Um, but yeah, it's like, my God, dude. Like, she is just made to be super fucking hot and attractive. It's like, Jesus. And I'm not complaining. It's just like, wow. Like, it went for a very specific design too, a very specific aesthetic, with the entire goth aesthetic, the spiked collar, the tattoos, the dark lipstick. Everything is just like, maybe that's just the type for me. Like, I have various types that I'm into, like buff women and stuff. Um, but maybe I do tend to be into goth girls to a degree. Not always, not every time, but to a degree. But the specific, I guess, design of how of Vice Admiral Dal is very much that specific type of goth girl that is very much my thing. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but I'm sure there's a word for it. I'm sure there's a term, a phrase, like for different types of goths, based aesthetically. I just don't know them offhand. So, yeah. But there probably is a term for that. Because I know a couple of like offshoots, I guess you could say, of goth culture. Like there's eco goth, for example. Um, but I just don't know much of it, all of them. Like I only know like maybe one or two here and there. But anyway, anyway, whatever that specific subtype of goth would be called, definitely my kind of thing. um, but yeah, we see the aftermath of Jinbei saving Bonnie, Chopper, and Luffy, and we see them interact. Bonnie is thankful and grateful for being saved and everything, though she is confused and shocked by the fact that Luffy is an emperor and everything. Even asking about the hair on the poster, which I actually like. I really like that she asked about that. Because it's like, yeah, I guess if for someone who didn't see that or knows what that means, that would be very confusing to a person. It's like, oh, wait, his hair turned white, but then sees him next time. Wait, your hair's not white? It's like, yeah, I could see how that could be confusing. Um, but she knows exactly where they are. She knows that they're on Egghead, and she's filling in the others regarding that. Um, it's yeah, it's definitely something that they need to know, and the fact that Luffy even recognizes Vegapunk's name right off the bat shows how big of a deal that is. Because if Luffy remembers a name, that's notable. He didn't even remember Bonnie. He didn't even recognize who she was, and he's heard about the other Worst Generation members, but they just didn't like connect in his head. But Vegapunk is important, is a big deal, so that one would click with him a little easier, I feel. So yeah, it's really starting to get interesting. This is our in a way, true introduction to Egghead as an arc. But the first episode, last episode, was more like setup for this episode in a lot of ways. This is where we want our first introduced to Egghead as an island and everything. It's where all of that comes into play, where we see Vegapunk's name and hear Vegapunk's name. Um, and get all of that information. And then, of course, Vegapunk debuting at the end. It's like this is notable. This is a big deal. Like I said, this has been set up for a long time. Vegapunk has been one of the biggest mysteries, one of the biggest things people have been waiting for. And that's definitely a way to start off the final saga. You start off the final saga of the series with the arrival of Dr. Vegapunk. That would do it. That would do it. Um, and I'm very excited to see where this goes. I'm very, very excited to see what they do going forward with this arc and everything that happens in it. Uh, and I'll just probably watch the opening like dozens of more times in between this week and next week. Um, but yeah, this is going to be exciting. This is again, like I said in the reaction, this is fresh. This is new. Like even if I know a couple things here and there, it's still mostly a whole new journey. We've been with Wano for so goddamn long that it's just like we needed something new at this point. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I loved Wano. It's my current favorite arc in the entire series. But we definitely needed something new at this point. Having the change in the art style, the um, kind of different vibe and tone that it looks like it's going for right now as well. It definitely allows it to stand on its own and feel fresh again. Because we could have just gone into the same kind of vibe, the same kind of feeling, the same kind of thing as we always do. But instead, by making it feel this different, it allows it to, again, feel fresh, to feel like it's exciting and new and just this unexplored territory. And I'm very hyped to see what they do with that. So yeah, I guess we just have to wait till next week now. It sucks that we have to wait. It really does. The episodes feel like go by so fast. But that's just because I'm enjoying it so much. So tell me in the comments below what you thought of episode 1090, the second episode of the Egghead Island arc. Let me know your thoughts. What did you think of Vegapunk's arrival? What did you think of the shark and the robot? What did you think of Bonnie? Let me know down below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See you all next time.